In 1932, Paul Ord and his Young Men's Business League began the Texas Citrus Fiesta to celebrate the bountiful winter citrus harvest and the residents of Mission, Texas. Today, it has become a week-long celebration that includes events such as the Product Costume Style Show, the Royal Gala, Coronation Night, and the Parade of Oranges. It serves as an opportunity for the lush subtropical Rio Grande Valley to come together to celebrate iconic historical traditions, community, royalty, and the grapefruits and oranges we all know and love. Hi, my name is Risa Renee Hernandez, Queen Citriana the 87th, and this is Citrus Legacies.
I'm Dolores Guerrero Reina, and I ended up being the lady-in-waiting.
My name is Melissa Willems Martinez. I was princess on the 22nd in 1972 and lady-in-waiting in 1983. And I've been involved with Citrus Fiesta since I was 2 years old.
I'm Dennis Holbrook. I'm King Citrus 1985, following my father, who was King Citrus, Don Holbrook, in 1965.
Hi, my name is Kelly Ortega. I am Queen Citriana the 50th. Prior to that, I was the Duchess of Delta Waters, which is how I got involved in the Citrus Fiesta. I'm now a member of the Board of Directors for the Texas Citrus Fiesta.
I'm Sylvia Salazar Hernandez, Duchess of Calamondon, 1990, Princess of Orange Blossom, 1991, and the mother of Queen Citriana the 87th.
Hi, I'm Mark Hernandez. I am an 8-time escort to royalty for the Texas Citrus Fiesta and the father to the current Queen Citriana the 87th.
I'm Estela Salazar, and 2 generations of my family have participated in the Texas Citrus Fiesta pageant.
My name is Angela de la Cruz. I was Duchess of Ruby Red Grapefruit in 2005.
Hey, my name is Jennifer Ruiz Longoria, and I was Duchess of Star Ruby Grapefruit, Princess of Orange Blossom, and Queen Citriana the 65th.
I'm Mariah Navarro, and I was Princess Anna, and I was also Duchess of Green Sorghum.
My name is Sarah Hinojosa. I am currently a board member for the Texas Citrus Fiesta, and I was Queen Citriana the 66th in 2003.
My name is Morgan Villarreal. I was Princess Anna the 49th. I was Duchess of Rio Red Grapefruit in 2009. I was Queen Citriana the 73rd.
Okay, my name is Haley Tejerina, and I was the former Princess of Tangerine Blossom.
My name is Mia Ayala. I was Princess Anna the 65th in 2015.
Mackenzie Olivares. I was Princess of Lemon Blossom in 2004, and then I was Princess of Orange Blossom in 2016.
My name is Kennedy Castillo. I was Duchess of Palms in 2017 and Lady-in-Waiting in 2018.
Hi, I'm Camila Lee Longoria, and I was Princess of Lemon Blossom 2018.
Thomas Brandon Thompson in 2019.
Hi, I'm Madison Longoria, and I'm actually Princess of Lemon Blossom, and I started my title in 2021.
I'm Mia Loren Guerrero, and I was Princess of Red Grapefruit Blossom in 2021.
My name is Rustin Holbrook, and I am King Citrus of 2024, following my dad and my grandfather.
I am Ren Marina. I am Princess of Lemon Blossom. I'm Adelaide Rose de la Cruz, Princess Anna the 74th.
So I'm Queen Citriana the 88th, which will be in the year of 2025, and I'm the current Duchess of Rio Red Grapefruit.
My name is Oscar Martinez. I have been involved with the Texas Citrus Fiesta for 26 years. I just let go of my position as president. I am the senior ranking member of the board.
My name is Jessica Ortega. I'm place 1 on the Mission City Council, and I'm an ex-board member of the Texas Citrus Fiesta.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Lopez. I am the Executive Director for the Mission Historical Museum Incorporated.
My name is Vernon Weckbacher. I'm the Archivist and Curator for the museum.
My name is Amy Tejerina. I am the Texas Citrus Fiesta Director.
The Texas Citrus Fiesta is more than just a presentation of exquisite ball gowns and beauty. It is a measure of the levels of intelligence, grace, and poise that so many young women in the Rio Grande Valley possess.
Everything is, it's not just a standard pageant. I think a lot of people come in and think, well, if I've done, 5, 6 pageants before, this is going to be the same thing. And it's not.
It's about having fun, about being pretty. Every little girl wants to be a princess.
They want somebody who's going to be well-versed and very social. You're a spokesperson for the Rio Grande Valley. You're a spokesperson for the citrus industry.
I think every city has something that makes them unique, and I think for us, it's the Texas Citrus Fiesta. It really is just something that allows the residents of Mission to come together and celebrate our beautiful city.
Whenever it's time to go and travel to the different parades, I can't tell you how many times you get stopped, and some of these people that you meet out in Laredo and San Antonio, Hoti, those people may not know, the whole gist of what the Citrus Fiesta is, know the whole backstory of it, the background.
Oh, I think it's excitement.
You're basically interviewing for a job, not just to have your picture and your face plastered all over the Rio Grande Valley. They want somebody who's going to be professional and well-spoken to continue to spread the word about what the Citrus Fiesta is, what these girls are to the industry, and how they keep this tradition alive.
You do it because you like it. You want it to be successful. And so participation and volunteerism is big with the Fiesta.
It doesn't matter whether you're on the court or a duchess, you're still part of history. And when you go to the coronation and they ask for former royalty, people that were duchesses announce themselves. So, that's how the pride that people take in it. It's not just the court, it's everyone that participates that has a special place in history. So you don't have to win to be a part of it.
Every little girl wants to be a princess, and if the opportunity is there, and if your children want to be part of it, have them participate, because it's good to participate. You don't necessarily win, but participating, making friends, having those networks that you can go to, I think that's an education itself.
It's not just a pageant, there's so much more behind it. And so it's pretty neat just to get to figure out and learn all that stuff.
So many families in the Rio Grande Valley have participated in the Texas Citrus Fiesta for generations. For example, the Pollock Ortega, Holbrook, Martinez, and Ruiz Longoria names have been represented in the Texas Citrus Fiesta for many years now. For me personally, my mother, aunt, and sister were all either on the royal court or represented our name as a duchess. I am so grateful and overjoyed to represent the Salazar Hernandez family name for the very first time as Queen Citriana.
You see more and more the same names pop up. And even with citrus in general, like what is unofficially dubbed as citrus families.
So there's been a little bit of a family heritage in the Citrus Fiesta.
I think it's such an honor in my family since my grandfathers, my great-grandfather and my father have all been kings. My aunts were all duchesses of Rio Red Grapefruits, and they all participated in this whole thing. And it's just truly amazing to be able to be the next person in the family to represent the Holbrook name in the Texas Citrus Fiesta.
Well, like my dad mentioned, my grandfather was King Citrus 1965. They moved to Texas in 1955 as a family, and my grandfather began farming citrus and other crops in the area. My dad was very involved from a very young age, and then eventually took over that family business, and I've now become involved in it. And so for the last 70 plus years, our family's been farming citrus in South Texas. And so it's an honor to continue that legacy and tradition, and to continue to provide a very unique product that comes from a unique geographic area in South Texas that only we can grow and we can provide. And it's truly the best grapefruit in the world.
When my family first moved here, we got into the citrus business. And so, but my mother was very involved as a community service kind of, through the Junior Service League and different other organizations where she did a lot of volunteer work for the Fiesta. So I served as the crown bearer when I was 6 years old. Russin has served also as a crown bearer when he was 6 years old. So, we've always just been kind of a very intricate part of our family because of our business as well as because of the community that we live in.
She has the lemons here because her cousin, Emily Nicole Guerrero, was also Princess of Lemon Blossom when she was 6 years old. So my family's been very involved with the Citrus Fiesta. They were Princesses of Lemon Blossom. My daughter was Duchess of Ruby Red.
That's my aunt.
Yes, this is her aunt, and she was Duchess of Ruby Red. It's more of a cultural event for people that have lived in the Mission area and know the history and the beginnings of the Citrus Fiesta as to why it started, and we just want to continue its traditions.
Emma, my cousin, she wants to be like a princess.
So she's gonna run for Princess Anna too. We have one more. I have one niece that's is getting ready to run for little Princess Anna for next year. So it'll just continue in our family. I knew that when I had a granddaughter, she was going to be a contestant and she was going to run for Princess Anna. And we were blessed that she did get Princess of Lemon. It'll be her decision if she wants to run for Duchess, but we'll encourage it. I think it starts with my mom. She started it here and passed it along to me and my sisters. And now we all do it together. It's a family thing. Everybody's involved. Everybody has an opinion.
My friend, my aunt, and my cousin was princesses. My aunt was Ruby Red Grapefruit, and my cousin was the Princess of Lemon Blossom. Why? I wanted to be like her.
I was the first one in my family to be involved in the Citrus Fiesta, and I think that impacted my niece, Mia, so that's why she wanted to be Princess Anna. So I was very proud to see her wanting to do it on her own, that she herself wanted to run, and that nobody pushed her, and she kind of just, went along with it. So it was great to have her also represent the City of Mission. And then my daughter, her again, all alone, wanted to do it on her own because she saw that both of us had done it. And so seeing her win was a complete honor as well, because now we're starting this tradition within our family to continue the citrus story, and we don't want that to get lost.
Seeing Addie do it, it means a lot to me because it reminds me of when I did it, and it's something that's really nice, and I'm happy that she can pass it on, and hopefully her sister, who is not yet old enough, can do it as well.
So it's just fun because we traveled as a family and got to experience it together.
I think a lot of people in the Valley don't realize how many families are just so close-knit with the Fiesta. I'm pretty sure we could name, a good handful where moms and daughters and, now this next generation of granddaughters have, taken part in it.
As a daughter and now as a mom, getting to experience that as a family, it's just so special.
It's just something that I take very big pride in, getting to do that with my family.
The memories of being together as a family and then bringing Oscar into it. It's just really sweet and special, and a legacy.
One of the behind the scene things also that a lot of people don't think of, and I can imagine most people probably ignore, is the dad involvement. Because we as dads, when it comes time to the parade, well, we got to look for either a truck or a convertible car or something without a top that we can put in the parade and ride with our darling, showing her off. Also having to move things around and take them here, take them there, and that kind of thing is nobody really pays attention to how much the dads are really involved, and unbeknownst to everybody, we're really enjoying it.
As I said, I've been around for 26 years, and the reason for that is what you have right here in front of you. My oldest daughter became Princess Ana, and I don't remember the years, but she was the reason right after that the director asked me to be a board member. So Morgan was my first Princess Ana. Second was my middle daughter, Mariah. She was also Princess Ana. And then my youngest daughter was Princess of Lemon. And then my granddaughter was also Princess of Red Grapefruit. So what you see here, and not to mention, the one that started all this was my wife. My wife was Princess Ana. She was the first Princess Ana, and then all my daughters came right after that. You have my oldest daughter that after Princess Ana, she also became Queen Citriana. Obviously, this has been in the family. It started by my wife and her family. I just joined in after my oldest daughter. So seeing them all compete, seeing them all with all the memories that they have and they talk about now. And we're hoping that other young ladies, other little princesses also continue to have that fun that my family has had. So we wish everybody a great time anytime they're part of the Texas Citrus Fiesta.
Having been there in 1991 with her, as well as I was at her escort then as her boyfriend, I guess you could say, and then later on to be able to escort my own daughter. So again, the dad factor and the dad influence has really made this into a family affair, and I think that's what makes it extra special, because bringing that family feeling to it makes it just that much more admirable.
And we did father-daughter dances with Risa and with me when we were on the court and the duchesses.
It's a tradition in our family. It's been so since 1990 for us. We've never missed going to the yearly activities. But, it's something that we all enjoy doing, and come December, we know it's coming up and we get excited for it.
I would say I've been attending, like I said, since as long as I can remember, and it's really special to know that the whole family has participated even before I was born. It's really something bigger than any of us. It's been around since 1932, and so to even just have participated as a family since the 90s is such an honor, and it's amazing to have been part of this big celebration that means so much. I know there are so many families that we see year after year that we might not see them throughout the year, but as soon as Texas Citrus Fiesta comes around, we see these families, their families that have participated just as long as us, some of them even longer.
I think a lot of moms like me will agree that we're out there, running around, getting our girls ready, putting those petticoats on them, those dresses, and making sure that they look like dolls. I just said so proudly, watching my daughters and my granddaughters compete, and I felt just completely overwhelmed with all the beautiful dresses up there. But of course, I always thought that my daughters and granddaughters were the prettiest ones.
Back then I would have said, well, it's pretty cool that my girlfriend is this, and she's going to represent as Duchess of Calamondon. I thought, well, great, And then she won and got on a spot on the royal court. And I thought, wow, great. And then later on to have seen Kennedy go through it, and then she gets on the royal court as well. It's like, wow, okay, this is great. Now it's kind of becoming a tradition. And then when you went through it, the Tangerine court, and then to grow up and be Queen Citriana, now it's a legacy.
You and I both had the same Duchess title. We were both Duchess of Palms, and so I think it's really special to get to share that. And then you and my aunt, who's not here, but they were both Duchess of Calamondon, and I think it's really special that we got to share those titles and kind of have, the same color dress and learn about the same product. I know, I got to tell you a little bit about what I learned, and you even learned some stuff that I didn't get to learn when I was Duchess of Palms. So I think that's another way that it's really special that families get to participate, and a lot of families have represented the same Duchess title over and over, and so I think that also is just a really cool element of the Texas Citrus Fiesta and how people get to participate.
Most people don't know I grew up knowing about Texas Citrus Fiesta. As a matter of fact, my grandparents worked for Texas Citrus Fiesta. They worked under the direction of Berta. I remember going as a little girl to the Mission High School gym where they would set up for coronation night. and now my girls they were in the Tangerine Court. My oldest daughter was a duchess, so it's true to my heart. I'm a Mission girl, Mission Knight, born and raised here, and I love the tradition of Texas Citrus Fiesta.
The reason I did TCF was because my older sister Ashley, she was Crown Princess Anna, and she really inspired me to want to do better for myself. As a kid, you always think of wanting to be a princess, and I think TCF really embodies that. I really just owe it to her. Even my little sister now, she was Princess of Lime Blossom, and it's just been a tradition in our family. So TCF really holds a special place in my heart.
When you are from the Rio Grande Valley, you know about the Texas Citrus Fiesta and what it celebrates, which is the history and tradition of the Texas citrus industry here in the Rio Grande Valley, and especially from the city of Mission. So when I grew up in the city of Mission, it was just part of me growing up, knowing that we were going to be celebrating the citrus industry every single year at the Fiesta. But not only does it become your tradition, being from the valley, you also make your own traditions within your family. So for us, it was participating in the Princess Anna pageant and the Queen Citriana pageant. Little did I know when I decided to participate, and I was a duchess, and then, blessed enough to be the princess and then Queen Citriana. Little did I know that I would be, one day have princesses of my own in the Tangerine Court. So they grew up seeing pictures of me, pictures that my mother would always bring out at every holiday to kind of show off. And they saw that and they said, "Mom, we want to be a part of the Texas Citrus Fiesta because of everything it represents, but also because it's part of our family tradition." So my younger sister and I were both queens, and then they decided to be in the Princess Anna pageant, and we were just so honored that they were crowned Princess of Lemon Blossom for the Tangerine Court.
The connection for me is a connection I've had with my mom throughout this, my sisters that did it, my kids that have done it, my niece that did it. That's our tie, is that we've all been involved over the years somehow. One of my older sisters was in it. My younger sister was in it as Delta Waters. She was Miss Congeniality. My niece was in it. All three of my daughters were in it. My middle daughter was Miss Photogenic. My youngest ended up on the Royal Court, Princess of Grapefruit Blossom. She was also Princess of Tangerine Blossom in the Tangerine Court. I've had cousins that have done it. So it's just like a thing for the family that we've all participated. We all have great memories, and I wouldn't give it up for nothing. So that's my connection to it, that route.
Growing up, my mom has always been involved in the Texas Citrus Fiesta, and she always wanted my sister and I to be involved, to even participate. And I have a daughter. And my daughter, when she was in high school, came home one day and said that she wanted to participate. And so she was Duchess of Honeydew.
Texas Citrus Fiesta Week is the culmination of a year of planning and organizing to celebrate the bountiful citrus harvest of Mission and the Rio Grande Valley. Every year, the celebration is centered around a creative theme that embodies the happenings of that year, such as the Coronation and Pageant of Citrus, Citrus USA, Fiesta del Rancho Grande, Citrus for the World, Texas Citrus Centennial, Citrus Salute to Broadway, Mission's Diamond Jubilee, Citrus Mardi Gras, Fiesta on Rio, Cheers to 80 Years, and my personal favorite, Noche de Carnaval.
Back then, it was a 5-night affair. We had the Duchesses, we had the product show, we had a ball after the parade. So on Saturday after the parade, everybody got ready because we had the ball to go to. Okay, so it was an all-week affair.
The way that they decorate the lights, the different ideas that they have, it is amazing. I know this year when I saw them putting it together, I was just in awe. The different colors that they had, the way that they had all the dresses, when you guys walked in, the different years, you got to see the way that it has evolved, the decorations, the designs of the dresses. You got to see how, simple they were, but they were elegant. And now you have these exquisite, designs, and the way that they just really portray their product. I will say that has just really evolved.
It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. We've already started working on next year's.
Many months of work it takes to organize Fiesta. You want to make sure that everything is done ahead of time, it's done well, that it's done beautifully, that people are involved, that that people want to come back the next year. You want to walk into Coronation and go, wow, this is so beautiful in here.
It takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and time. It also takes a lot of participation from the community. It only is a fiesta because of its people and the community behind it. We are so fortunate, and it just makes us work that much harder to see so many cities, towns, communities step up and say, hey, the Citrus Fiesta is part of our tradition in our respective cities as well. So it really takes a team effort from all of the Rio Grande Valley. And we're so honored that so many cities and towns and areas have made the Citrus Fiesta part of their tradition as well, because it truly becomes more a larger organization. It makes it feel that much more like family, and it truly unites the Rio Grande Valley.
To organize the Texas Citrus Fiesta, it does take a lot of work in different areas. You have fundraisers, you have worker bees, you have people that are just really organized. So there's just different parts of Texas Citrus Fiesta that need people to do things. So, and so Citrus Fiesta has a bunch of events. They have the parade, so you need somebody for parade, you need somebody for coronation, you need somebody for duchesses, you need somebody for the Tangerine Court, because there is a Princess Anna pageant. So there's at least 3 pageants that the Citrus Fiesta board has to have. And there's also the fun fair, there's a carnival, so there's just a lot of moving pieces. And then on top of that, you still have to look for sponsors to keep the nonprofit going.
I've had the opportunity to serve on the Texas Citrus Fiesta board for a year, and it was a wonderful experience where I got to see the tremendous volunteerism of many of our community members that get together and volunteer their time to give back to our beautiful city and the wonderful Texas Citrus Fiesta. There is a lot that goes into being a board member and making sure that the Texas Citrus Fiesta goes off without a hitch. There's a lot of planning, a lot of organizing, a lot of fundraising, and it's just wonderful to see at the end of the day the beautiful weekend that we all put together so we can watch the beautiful young ladies in their beautiful dresses, the kings, and also all the community that participates in our beautiful parade.
My Duchess of Palm's dress was a regal ball gown in 3 shades of green, created with French embroidered lace and Shakira beads, bugle beads, and crystals. The bodice was inspired by a Victorian tradition of corsetry and created out of Dupioni raw silk. The voluminous skirt was designed to echo Sabal Tejana palm leaves, fashioned from creased taffeta, draping down over Shantung raw silk and forming a Victorian-style pannier. The front of the skirt prominently displayed 2 heavily beaded palm trees adorned with iridescent Swarovski crystals. For my Queen Citriana dress, I wore an Elizabethan-inspired ball gown of white Mikado satin. The classic sweetheart neckline and sheer long sleeves were intricately created with delicate gold canutillo lace and adorned with Shakira beads, bugle beads, and Swarovski crystals. A tradition passed down from year to year is the high Elizabethan collar that can only be worn by Queen Citriana and Princess Anna. They are also the only ones that can wear gold and white. Queen Citriana, King Citrus, and Princess Anna are also the only ones to carry a scepter. The scepters are each handmade and adorned to match their royal attire. It is a privilege to carry the royal scepter.
In 1963 was the first year that it was required for Queen Citriana to wear an all-white dress. Prior to that, the dress was actually made with citrus products.
My dress is yellow, but I like the lemons in it. And the diamonds and the beads.
When she had her photo shoot, say this is my book.
This is my book.
She was in a lemon orchard. Her uncle, Raul Cavazza from Westaco, which is the Duchess of Lemon, right, owns a lemon orchard, a citrus orchard. You can show me your pretty dress. A big princess dress. You wanted to, and your sash? Why do you have to wear a sash?
Because I'm Princess of Lemon.
When I was Duchess of Star Ruby Grapefruit, I knew that to really depict the rich colors of the Star Ruby Grapefruit, I had to go with a deep burgundy, deep red. So we were able to play off of those different colors, and it was just so much fun for my mother and I. We truly had, this bonding experience of being able to select a dress and come up with a sketch and come up with a design and work with local, very extremely talented seamstresses that were able to put our vision and to make it a reality in our dress. So that was just really awesome to have the grapefruits all over depicted in my dress. And then when I became princess, I had a white gown, a white beautiful ball gown, and I truly felt like a real princess in it, and it had beautiful orange blossoms all over it. And then again, I was blessed enough to be crowned Queen Citriana the 65th. My dress is actually right there. And we knew that when it came to my Queen Citriana dress, we wanted it to be something elegant, something timeless, and something that really represented what the Texas Citrus and the Queen Citriana pageant were all about. The regalness of it, the elegance.
Well, mine was like pretty yellow with some lace, and I had lots of fun, like seeing how they created it. It was super cool and fun, and I just felt like a real princess in my dress.
I felt the same way with my dress. I felt like I was a real princess, and being the first granddaughter in the family to become Princess of Living Blossom, it was just amazing because of the beautiful decals and the details and the big puffy sleeves, and it was just an amazing dress, and I love it so much.
So this was my Queen Citriana crown. I was Queen Citriana the 65th, and this is one of the few that now, before all of the Queen Citriana crowns were created and they were meshed together, this is the beginning of when they were just one solid piece as opposed to being created. So that's something different. And this right here is the Queen Citriana scepter that was used with Queen Citriana the 64th through the 68th. And you look at this and you just think of so many parades that it attended, so many years of festivities that it was a part of. So it really is, you look at this and I think, wow, this really is a part of Texas Citrus Fiesta history. So this is a really unique piece. It's long, it has pearls all over, gold beading. It's nice and heavy, so it feels very regal. Something very interesting is that all the scepters are handmade. So they're not store-bought, they're all handmade and crafted with lots of love and dedication to the Fiesta, to the Royal Court, to the Tangerine Court. So that's pretty amazing and special when it comes to the Queen Citriana pageant.
So I kind of designed my dress, and with the help of my mom, she kind of she made my dress. She also made Addie's dress as well. So she kind of had her hand in all of our dresses. So I remember designing the dress, and I was really specific that I wanted the little poofy sleeves, and I wanted it to be velvet because I kind of wanted to because I had worked at the Mission Historical Museum, and I remember seeing a past Duchess of Ruby Red dress that was velvet, and I loved it. So I wanted to incorporate that. Even though it was very heavy, I still wanted that velvet on there. And again, my mom did some beaded grapefruits to add on there. We actually incorporated her Princess Anna's backing into Addie's Princess Anna's dress. So we
And
added
I
a
got
little
to
bit.
pick how the sleeves were.
Yeah, she did.
My favorite part of my dress is the bows, like the little ones.
The dresses, in a way, have changed a lot, and in a way have not changed at all. I know one thing that I did with my dress when I was both Duchess of Palms and Lady in Waiting is we had embroidery on it, and when I was Duchess of Palms, we had embroidered palm trees, and when I was Lady in Waiting, I wanted to kind of pay homage to that title as well as to the citrus industry. So we embroidered both palm trees and citrus onto the front of the dress. And I think at the time, it really hadn't been done that anybody embroidered any images onto their dress. So I think that's something that has kind of caught on since then, and we see more of that. I've seen a few in the recent years that have painted their dresses, so they've painted different images, which I think is different as well. And then it's always interesting to see just the different trends that come and go. You know, the sleeves are different sometimes. Some people like the really big poofy dresses, which I think are beautiful and my favorite, but some people like them to be a little more tapered. So it's really interesting to see that evolution. And also I think the evolution of the dresses always reflects the current fashion trends and what's in at the time. So that's kind of cool because it's almost like a historical marker in a way, or like some sort of time capsule, just seeing those images later and be like, oh, those were the trends and that's what was in, and it just sort of reflects the current day and the trends.
I just enjoy seeing, you know, the designs of the dresses, you know, the way that they portray their product, you know, the different ways that they do it, and the fact that every year it's something different. You know, you can have somebody do something that's completely, you know, what you would expect, and then the next year it's like, wow, I would have never pictured somebody to design a dress like that.
So many of these titles, we see them year after year. It's always interesting to see everyone's interpretations of their product and how that's reflected in their dresses. You know, for example, we had the same title. We were both Duchess of Palms, and it was just a few years, 5-6 years in between, but our dresses were so very different and such different interpretations of our products. And I think that's very interesting. A lot of times it also reflects each girl's personality in a way. And I think that's another great thing about the dresses, is just how everyone is able to have the same products year after year, but put their own personality and their own style into it, and have these different interpretations that are really exciting to see every year.
For me, also very interesting and fun was the fact that I got to sit down with my daughters and my granddaughters, and you know, we started sketching out samples of dresses of what they wanted, and it was just very interesting. You know, some liked one type of sleeve, different product, embroidery, different things on their dresses. So just creating that vision was very interesting, and it was very fun for me.
And there are a few dress designers that sort of specialize in a way in these dresses. I know our dress designer, Rosy Coronado, she did your queen dress, my lady in waiting dress, both are Duchess dresses, and she's done many a Duchess and a royal court dress since then. And there's also a few other dress designers that I know of that have made many dresses, either for Duchesses or royal court. And I think it's really cool that that's become something that they've kind of specialized in, and something that they do year after year.
I had fun designing all their dresses. So I designed just about every single dress. I enjoyed doing that, and then getting to spend the time with the girls individually. My mom designed my dress when I was a little girl, and so getting to design their dresses.
It takes a huge investment on these beautiful dresses. It costs anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. There's even some families that spend up to $7,000 to $10,000 on a beautiful dress.
So my Duchess dress was pink, and it had it was 3/4 sleeves, and then it had I think like organza silk kind of that went around, kind of almost like fairy tale looking, and then it had a trim of lace on the end with like it beaded, I guess encrusted, whatever. And then it had it was all raw silk, and then there was a panel that went through the front, and it had some ruffles, like pleats, actually some pleats on the front, and there was also an overlay of lace with the crystals and beading. And then the skirt was the ball gown, and on the ball gown there was Swarovski crystals placed in different areas of it, and then on the bottom there was a trim of the same lace that was on the trim of my sleeve.
Each year, the Texas Citrus Fiesta takes its float on the road to share its citrus heritage throughout the state of Texas at various parades and festivals. The TCF float measures 15 feet long and was once adorned completely with citrus, has now evolved to a more commercial appearance. The float carries Queen Citriana, King Citrus, Princess Anna, and the Royal and Tangerine courts. 10 representatives in total can be accommodated. The year starts off with the Texas Citrus Fiesta Parade of Oranges, which has about 12,000 people in attendance yearly. Next, we participated in Laredo's Washington Birthday Parade, Brownsville Chattel Days Parade, the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show Parade, Poteet's Strawberry Festival Parade, and the Fiesta Flambeau Parade in San Antonio. Later this year, we will also attend Mission's Veterans Day Parade and McAllen's Holiday Parade. Our float has won awards for Best Float and is known as a crowd pleaser when the crowd calls out, "Show us your shoes," and the court reveals boots or fuzzy slippers underneath our ball gowns. I have had the experience and incredible honor to ride on this float as a 6-year-old Princess of Lime Blossom on the Tangerine Court, and now as Queen Citriana, and I will cherish those memories forever.
I guess my favorite part was the parade. I was always looking forward to the parade. I mean, that's the best part of the Citrus Fiesta, where you get to, well, if you're Princess Anna or Queen Citriana or any of the other princesses, you get to ride that famous Texas Citrus Fiesta float. And then being a Duchess, you can, we got the opportunity to get a car and ride on the car and showcase our dress. So that was one of my favorite parts. It made it fun.
The parades were some of my favorite experiences. I really did enjoy all of them. I have to say, I love the Parade of Oranges. Of course, that is the Texas Citrus Fiesta parade, so it's lots of fun, and it's sort of the first time we're riding on the float, and going year after year, you see that float and you're like, that's the Texas Citrus Fiesta float. So to be on it and to represent as part of the Royal Court is really special. But I have to say, one of my favorite parades was the very last parade during my reign was the McAllen Holiday Parade. And the year before that, I represented McAllen as the Duchess of Palms. So it was really special to end my reign in my home city, and it was a really fun parade. And I also, that year, I got to that parade, I got to fill in for the Queen, so I got to sit in that spot, and that was really special to me, to just have that honor to fill in for Queen Citriana and to sit there, and of course to end my reign in my hometown was so special and so much fun.
The first Texas Citrus Parade happened in 1941 with Lloyd Benson Senior as King Citrus. Everybody's in the parade. If you're from Mission, you were in the parade at some point in your life. It is one of those events that brings everybody together in some way, shape, or form.
What do you ride on in the different towns?
To the float.
Yeah, you ride on the float. And what do you do when you're on the float?
You do parades.
Yeah, you do parades, and what do you tell the people? Yeah. You went to Laredo?
Yes.
And Brownsville?
And San Antonio.
You went to...
My favorite parade was in San Antonio. And also Laredo.
My favorite is whenever we went to the fiestas, and they were very fun. I would also love when we would also go to the Poteet of Fiesta. It was basically a strawberry parade, and it was very fun because after the parade, we could go and eat chocolate-covered strawberries and play lots of games and have lots of fun.
If you look at the floats throughout time, you'll notice that at one point, whole citrus fruit were used to decorate it, like the whole fruit in its entirety. And then a freeze occurred, as several did throughout the history. So then they started slicing up the citrus. And then that's when you start seeing that style used to decorate the floats.
We've attended many parades in many different communities in South Texas and throughout South and Central Texas. And it's been wonderful to get out there and be a part of those and be a part of other communities representing our great city and our great area and our great industry of citrus.
During the time that I was serving as the Fiesta's board president, we took a float and participated in the Cotton Bowl Parade in Dallas and represented the Fiesta that year. And the float was basically a little train that had all of the boxes that different shippers from the Mission Valley area were on and displayed on the trailers of this little train. You know, the front of that train, Russin set, and it was kind of like this was the dream of the little boy, and he was playing with a little train that was going around while he was sitting on it, and I was the engineer driving the train, so it was kind of a cool experience.
I guess dreams come true.
Parades don't happen very often, and that's probably one of my childhood memories has been the parade. So it's just kind of always been with me ever since then.
I think my favorite memory of being in the Texas Citrus Fiesta was doing the parades, seeing everybody smile while we waved at them. We got to learn curtsies, how to do a figure 8. It was just my favorite thing. And I think kids in Mission should be allowed to experience the same thing.
Here we have a commemorative plaque from 1993 from the 56th annual Texas Citrus Fiesta.
I love that these young ladies get the opportunity to come and participate in all of our events. They get to shine and go and visit other parts of Texas and say that they are from Mission, Texas, and get people involved and want to know what Mission's all about, and maybe come and visit and stay in Mission and spend money in Mission.
I'm going to try to find Colonel Sanders.
Oh, yes.
Take me just a minute.
So Colonel Sanders is, if you're familiar with Kentucky Fried Chicken, the face, he was actually the Grand Marshal at one of the Texas Citrus Fiesta parades.
So when you see these beautiful duchesses, princesses, and queens on these gorgeous floats throughout the Texas Citrus Fiesta Parade of Oranges, you see them in these gorgeous gowns, elaborate with rhinestones and gorgeous crowns. And you would think that they're wearing these beautiful glass slippers, you know, something similar to Cinderella. And in reality, most of the time, we're wearing fuzzy socks and fuzzy slippers. So that's a little bit, you know, kind of like a hidden thing that goes on just so that we're comfy while we're on the parade route.
At the parades, one of my favorite things is when you would look out and there would be little girls, you know, waving, and they would be like, look, there's a princess or something. And they would tell like their parents or whoever they were with. And I think that's a really fun part of the experience as well, is not only to be dressed like a princess, but also to inspire little girls around. And especially if they're from the Rio Grande Valley, that moment where they see you could be a moment where they decide that one day they want to run for Queen Citriana and be part of the Texas Citrus Fiesta as well. And I think that's really special.
The Texas Citrus Fiesta Fun Fair is a weekend event of family fun filled with food, arts, crafts, carnival rides, music, and family-friendly activities such as a petting zoo. My absolute favorite thing to do every year is line dance alongside members of the royal court and indulge in a Spiro Papa.
I used to be on the president of the Texas Citrus Fiesta board a number of years ago, and so we initiated during that term of mine the fun fair, and I'd like to see that expanded and grown. I think that when we first started, we had in a very small area, we had 3 different stages where we had constant entertainment. We had all kinds of fun events for the kids. We even had armadillo races.
My favorite event is the fun fair, I think. And because you get to play a lot of games, you get to try new foods, and like there's everything you can do, and I just love it.
We used to have what we call fun fair, and it was all family oriented. So, you know, because it was a tradition, right? The downtown area was always decorated. So as the royal court, we would go decorate all the store windows with grapefruits and whatever the theme was, okay? And so we had a big part in decorating the downtown area, because that's where the parade was gonna take place.
The businesses used to dress up their storefronts with citrus products. And so not only was the street adorned with beautiful parade floats, but the businesses as well.
So Texas Citrus Fiesta, there used to be this window decorating competition that they used to have back in the old days, and up and down in Mission, Texas, they would decorate their windows for that year's theme for the coronation, and they would have a competition, and like the certain winners would get prizes. And it was really cool to go do research about that different like competitions that used to have during those 2 weeks of the celebration.
This is the Sherry Building, which is actually the Mission Historical Museum. And this is actually decorated for the Texas Citrus Fiesta with Spanish moss. It's my favorite photo of the museum. And one day we will do that again during Citrus Fiesta.
We also had Texas Monthly do an article on Texas Citrus Fiesta, and we invite always all our partnering news media, the local newspapers, to join us and helping us spread the word of Texas Citrus Fiesta.
Out of the 29 individuals that were interviewed, nearly half of them said that Coronation Night was their favorite. Coronation Night is such a beautiful event because it is the first time that you get to see any of the Duchess's dresses, and it is the first time that the royal court is presented with their titles. It is also the first night that King Citrus is presented and his identity is revealed to the Rio Grande Valley.
So my favorite is Coronation.
I think for me, it's always been the Coronation.
Of course, Coronation is awesome.
I would say mine is Coronation too.
My favorite event has to be the Coronation.
Mine would have to be the Coronation also.
I've always loved the Coronation.
I think for me it's Coronation.
My favorite is the Coronation.
Coronation.
Definitely.
I think we can all agree on that.
Well, I'm very new to this since I'm king of this year, but I enjoyed the royal reception.
When the duchesses are on the ramp, when they walk, Coronation is beautiful.
It's sort of the first event where the community gets to see all of the duchesses in their dresses, and the royal court, it's the start of their reign. So it really sets the tone for the entire year for the royal court, and for the duchesses, it kicks off the fiesta, and it's a great time.
Because it is kind of the kickoff major event of the fiesta. It allows us to be able to meet all the duchesses who represent different growth of products grown in the valley, all throughout the valley. So it's a major event, and that's probably my favorite.
For me, it's the pomp and circumstance that's involved in the coronation. When the kings are introduced and royalty starts to get introduced, and then to see all of the duchess representing different parts of the Rio Grande Valley, different products, and then the boys that are pages that are carrying the banners representing each of the products involved. It's a beautiful, beautiful ceremony, and it's nice to see royalty in the valley.
The entertainment of the little ones. I don't think there's ever a year where the little boys don't completely steal the show from the big girls. And that's what I enjoy seeing, is more so the little boys kind of coming out of the show, because they never get that spotlight the way the girls do.
Coronation was the night that I was announced to be a king, and that was exciting for me and for the girls that are in the current royal court. So I really enjoyed that event as well.
Of course, when the queen first makes her entrance is awesome, but for me, getting to announce the new court for the next year is really just the coolest thing.
I think everybody that's been part of the Texas Citrus Fiesta within the last several years has heard your voice before.
Yes,
Do you want to talk about that?
They have, because I've been hosting their narrating, I guess, Coronation for a few years now. I don't know exactly how many.
23 Queen's Royal Court. A lovelier array of beautiful young women could not exist elsewhere than in this royal court.
Let's give them a round of applause. Aren't their dresses gorgeous?
I've done product costume and I've done Princess Anna. And I've actually had people come up to me and say that I am the voice of Coronation. And so that's very cool to me. Because I stress over it and want to make sure that I do it right, and then I pronounce people's names correctly, and that it's clear, and that I describe the dresses great, because a lot of work is put into them, but that I don't talk about them too long. It's this whole kind of balancing act for me, writing the script and then getting to read it. But no one else does it, so it's so special for me to be able to do it. You know, the product costume show is so unique. There's none other like it. So I know that probably would be everyone's, you know, I guess, favorite part because it's so unique.
So my favorite event, I actually got to participate in it, is the product costume show. Because I love how everybody gets to come together with their own designs and their own style and put a little bit of citrus in it. And it's just so much fun. I love it so much.
I got associated with the Citrus Fiesta through my mother, Emma Cavasa Guerrero, who was an old home environment teacher at Mission High School. And she would teach her classes how to make the product costumes.
The product costume show, what people don't realize is it's the only folk art that's recognized by the Smithsonian in the 20th century. So that's our honor here in the Valley. Costumes have been modeled in Washington at the Smithsonian in the 70s and 80s.
And Cleo Dawson, whose claim to fame is writing the book She Came to the Valley, the movie that got made here and all that stuff. So people from the city were part of the movie, were like actors in the movie. We'll get people like, my grandma was Pancho Villa's wife in the movie. And I know that past mayor Dr. Ocaña also told us that the fire department at that time provided the rain that you see in the movie.
I started modeling product costumes when I was in maybe the 2nd or 3rd grade up through junior high, where I was Dr. Cleo Dawson when she wrote the movie She Came to the Valley.
Oh boy, that looked juicy. Try it, honey. Willie?
Thank you.
You like it, honey?
Good. It's sweet, isn't it? Where'd it come from, Mr. Lester? Did you get it in California?
No, ma'am. It's 150 miles from here in the valley.
Oh, what valley's that?
Rio Grande, my home. It's where the river runs into the Gulf of Mexico.
Product costume style show 1938. This is, look how elaborate that is. The whole science of making these product costumes I'm not sure how they were made in years past, but now I know that the product gets dried and grounded up and made into a powder that they cover certain fabrics with. So this is one that's part of our collections.
Being Queen Citriana is the biggest honor I've ever had in my life. It is such a beautiful way to express my love of the citrus industry and my passion for educating the Rio Grande Valley about it. My experience as Queen Citriana has been one of many educational experiences and has consisted of a lot of networking opportunities and increasing my communication and leadership skills.
My favorite event at the Texas Citrus Fiesta would have to be the Queen Citriana pageant, because so many young ladies from all over the Rio Grande Valley come together to not only represent their cities and their products, but to represent themselves and their families. And it's just so amazing to see so many young ladies wanting to participate and be a part of the Texas Citrus Fiesta and be a part of the citrus industry. And it's just so wonderful to see everyone come together.
I want to be the queen.
And why do you want to be the queen?
Because and I was just born, I was first.
Yeah, because she wants to be first, and she knows that the Queen Citriana is first.
I believe that responsibilities were probably a lot less than they are now, which I think that's one good way that this event has evolved. These girls have more of a responsibility to their community, the Duchesses and the Royal and Tangerine Court, which I think is awesome. They're out in the community more, they're giving back more, they're involved more, and that's really very important for these girls to do.
Queen Citriana has a lot of responsibilities to promote the Texas citrus industry, conducting herself in a professional manner, always acting ladylike.
The King's Association is truly the magic behind the Texas Citrus Fiesta. This organization of men and their families have sustained the Texas Citrus Fiesta for almost a century. They are an extremely humble group of men with a true desire to continue this celebration of the Valley's citrus harvest. Every year, they select a new King Citrus to reign alongside Queen Citriana, Princess Anna, and the courts to continue this long-standing tradition.
It's been amazing. So it started off with me being invited to a lunch with some former kings and asked if I would serve as the current King Citrus, which I accepted. And then from there, they took measurements for my crown, and then on the night of coronation, I was kind of sequestered into a back room. The identity of King Citrus is supposed to be kept a secret and confidential until the night of coronation it's announced. And so that's when I was introduced, and I got to meet our current royal court and many of the duchesses that were participating in the Citrus Fiesta for this year. And then after coronation, all of the fun began with parade after parade after parade. So
I also think the selection of the king, that it's kept a secret all the way up to the day of coronation and that nobody knows who it is. I remember I had never been in the back when the king was about to be announced, and this past year was my first year with Addie. And I remember seeing a man walking in, and I had no idea who he was until he was up there on stage being crowned the king. I was like, oh my gosh, the king was backstage with us the whole time, and I had no idea he was the king.
A previous king surprises you and offers you the next kingship because the previous kings had vote on who's going to be the next one, and you accept it or decline, and you're off. You're never an ex-king. You can always come out of retirement and help when the previous king or the king can't make it.
The Royal and Tangerine Court have the responsibilities of promoting the citrus industry in many different ways. I had the honor of being Princess of Lime Blossom in 2013, and I can truly say it was such a beautiful experience and an amazing way to be able to engage with my community.
The Royal Court has a lot of responsibilities, but its main responsibility is to promote the Texas Citrus Fiesta. That is their main responsibility, to become role models in their community, to get the word out on the importance of the fiesta and why we celebrate the Texas Citrus Fiesta. It's to recognize all of the efforts that came with the citrus industry and what it brought to the Rio Grande Valley, especially to the city of Mission, and how, at the beginning it was just land here, and what the vision of John H. Sherry, his vision, was able to create to now. So that is the main goal of the Royal Court, is to be able to promote that, to encourage others to be a part of such an amazing fiesta, to get the word out, to come down to the Rio Grande Valley and to enjoy the festivities, the week-long festivities. That's their main responsibility. And the other one, like I mentioned, is just to be role models in their community. A lot of these girls are seen as role models. A lot of young girls and young boys are looking up at our King Citrus, are looking at our pages, our royal pages, looking at our duchesses and our princesses and saying, wow, I'd like to be involved in that, or I'd like to participate, or I'd like to volunteer. So they're seen as role models. So making sure and ensuring that our girls are going out to the community, giving back, and doing their best to be role models in their community.
Well, as Princess of Lemon Blossom, I had the ability to work with such an amazing court of girls, and how we bonded together as a Tangerine Court, and how we got to help our community while doing it. We helped and gave back with a lot of organizations. We helped others in our community, and we knew the responsibilities of being a princess in the Tangerine Court.
Well, I loved helping others, and I loved, they felt like a family to me, helping others and just trying our best and always doing what we love.
I think the main responsibility of the Royal Court is to be an ambassador for the Texas Citrus Fiesta and to promote the citrus industry here in the Rio Grande Valley. Obviously, there's a huge history behind it, and I think a big part of the role as being part of the Royal Court is to inform others about the history, inform others about why the Citrus Fiesta started and what it's all about, promote the events as well, get people to go to, the fun fair, the product costume show, all of the events that are included in the fiesta, And I think also it's about connecting with others. And the Royal Court, they get to attend a lot of events, especially parades. And so I'd say going to all those parades, you get to meet a lot of new people and make connections and sort of explain to them who you represent and what the Citrus Fiesta is all about.
Absolutely. And it's extremely important to realize that it's not just about the coronation. We've talked a lot about the coronation and how beautiful it is, and obviously the beautiful ball gowns that each of the duchesses and then the royal court get to wear. But it goes beyond that. It is almost 2 years that you're participating in this. If you're a duchess, you have your year as that, and then the year that you reign as part of the royal court. And it's so important to be an ambassador and to represent the Rio Grande Valley, the city of Mission that is home of the grapefruit, and your individual cities for whatever product you were representing. There's quite a bit of responsibility. There's a ton of fun to be had, but quite a bit of responsibility to be an ambassador of the Texas Citrus Fiesta.
So Princess Anna has a lot of responsibilities, right? You gotta be a role model, be a leader to the group, set the tone.
During my high school years, after graduating, I ran for Duchess, and then I ended up being the lady in waiting. At that time, lady in waiting could not run for queen. She sat on the court to make sure that the people who ran the Citrus Fiesta wanted to make sure that there was always a Mission girl on the court. Later on, they changed that regulation, and so now I do believe that the lady in waiting does run for Queen Citriana. When I was a lady in waiting, it was an A-line, just a simple A-line, long white gown, very minimal detail, because the lady in waiting could not have a big ball gown. It had to be A-line because the Queen Citriana had the big ball gown. And so the lady in waiting was a lady in waiting. I would have to wait till everybody got seated, and then I would have to fix her train after the little train bearers took off. And then we would take off her collar so she could walk off after the different presentations, and because that, so the lady in waiting's dress could not have a bigger ball gown than the Queen Citriana. So it was minimized. So they had regulations, and so it was just an A-line. I mean, yes, it was big, but it was not as big as the Duchesses or the Queen Citriana.
And back in the day, I was lady in waiting in 1983. Lady in waiting was always from Mission because they wanted a Mission girl to sit on the court. So, but she was not judged. So I did not compete for Queen Citriana in 1983.
Right, yeah, so it did start out, it was one of the first titles. It was originally, like you said, meant to be somebody from the city of Mission, and then that kind of changed over the years. I am so grateful. Even though I represented the city of McAllen as Duchess of Palms, and then, you know, once I was on the court, I feel like I did represent Mission in a way. So even though I'm not originally from Mission, I'm so grateful to the city for everything they do for Texas Citrus Fiesta. But I think it was extra special to compete for that title and for it to no longer have been a title it was just appointed. I had to go through the interview, I had to be judged on the dress and all the different things that they judge on. So to have earned that title, I think makes it even more special. And I love that it's a title that is really, aside from Queen Citriana, one of the original titles of the royal court. So it was really special to have that title.
Being a duchess means being part of a sisterhood forever. Each year, the Texas Citrus Fiesta has a new group of duchesses that grow closely as a family and promote the citrus industry through their products that they represent.
We are so fortunate and lucky that we have places like our personal City of Mission Museum that we can display these beautiful dresses so that other people can come in and see, and young children, when they go and visit the museum, they can see the dresses and say, oh, one day I want to be wearing a dress just like that.
I believe it's taken into great consideration how to retain its traditions while still including all the other products that have come into development in the valley. In the beginning, there was 22 other communities that participated, each one having a duchess that represents a certain product. And now you'll see 22 plus young ladies participating in the event, which includes products that perhaps were not around in the beginning of Citrus Fiesta. I know it was sometime in the 60s where there was a Duchess of North Mission and a Duchess of South Mission. There was also Duchess of International Goodwill, correct? And I was always a foreign exchange student. It no longer is exclusive to a foreign exchange student. My favorite is the petroleum one. One title that will never ever happen again and only happen once, of course, is the Centennial title, the Mission Centennial dress. It's very pretty. And you see the styles of the dresses change throughout time as well. So classic butterflies, which are of course iconic to the city of Mission. There's bougainvillea. There was cactus one year.
Yeah,
I don't think
sea oats.
Sea oats. Delta's Waters has been around for a long time.
Poinsettia.
Yeah, poinsettia is gorgeous.
That's Mercedes.
And then Westago's lemon. Benitas has been around for a very long time, believe it or not. Retama.
Onion.
And then the Borderfest young lady would be festivals, right? That one's newer in the timeline.
Yeah, some have come and gone.
Yeah, some of them have come and gone.
Growing up, we would, I don't know, maybe I was 8, 9, we started to attend Coronation when it was in another place in Mission. It's a much smaller place than we would attend Coronation. And then my older sister was in it. So of course we went to her evening when she was presented a Duchess, and then we went back when she was, put onto the royal court. And then at that moment, it was like, man, I just really want to be in this because it's so unique and fun, and the girls are beautiful and the dresses are beautiful and it's elegant, it's royal. So at the time, I would enter different pageants. So I would do Miss Edinburgh, or I would do CoverGirl, or whatever there was, because those pageants, if you won, you were automatically in Queen Citriana. You would represent that event where your title came from. Well, I just couldn't win. I could not win one single pageant. It would be like first runner up, like really? Okay, fine. So then I went off to college. I came back home after a year for financial reasons, and I told my mom, I said, I still want to do it. She's like, well, how do we do it? I said, I don't know, because I'm not going to be in any of these pageants. I'm too old. So we called the Citrus office to find out how it worked, and I'm not sure if anybody knows that you could be in the Citrus Fiesta if there is no pageant in your city. So I asked them if we could come up with a title that represented Hargill, which is where I'm from, and the Delta area where I live, and so that I could be in Queen Citriana, because I couldn't get there on my own. So they said yes, and so we came up they asked me what my favorite color was, and I said, well, I like blue. So they came up with the Duchess of Delta Waters, and the colors were blue, teals, greens, or anything along that line was the color. So I was the first ever Duchess of Delta Waters, and then I also became Queen Citriana.
There used to be a Duchess of Sea Harvest from Port Isabel.
It's an honor just to be a Duchess. When I went into it, I had no idea I would get a spot on the royal court, but just being a Duchess and representing my city and learning about my product and getting to participate in the coronation and the gala and the parade were all incredible experiences.
I won a pageant called Miss Springfest, and it came with 3 titles. It was Miss Springfest, Miss Hidalgo County, and Duchess of Palms. So I got to represent the city of McAllen as Duchess of Palms back then. They didn't ask us about our product back then. It was just a basic interview. And since it's kept going, they have gotten more specific and wanted to know that the girls know about their products, which I think has more meaning than just a regular interview.
So representing the Duchess of Ruby Red was obviously one of the older duchesses in the Texas Citrus Fiesta. The Ruby Red Duchess had been around, I want to say from the beginning of the Citrus Fiesta, but it's one of the long-standing duchesses. And I absolutely love Ruby Red grapefruit. I like to eat it. I like to drink the juice. You can eat it with salt or sugar, either way. But obviously our representation of Texas Citrus Fiesta, the grapefruit is
big?
So I was the Duchess of Pink Grapefruit, representing Sherryland. So I was Duchess of Rio Red Grapefruit, so I got to represent the Ex-Kings Association.
I was Duchess of Grain Sorghum.
I was also Duchess of Rio Red. I also had the honor of representing the Kings. So my product was the Rio Red Grapefruit, and something cool about that product specifically is that it really is kind of the Rio Red's grapefruit. So it was known as the Rio Red Grapefruit. They would use redder is better as their little slogan for it. It's the sweetest, it's the reddest, and it is my favorite grapefruit, and I had the honor to represent it in the Texas Citrus Fiesta. As a Duchess, I had a bit of a different experience that the Kings do, so I was able to go through with my Duchesses and do different service projects throughout the valley, and I think that had to be my favorite part.
I was fortunate enough to represent the Star Ruby Grapefruit, and what's so amazing about the Star Ruby Grapefruit is that its vibrant colors and its just, amazing taste make it such a marketable grapefruit, not only nationally, but actually globally. So that's pretty interesting about the Star Ruby Grapefruit.
It means community. It means unity. It means cohesiveness. It means an event that we're all able to participate in. It's just a very meaningful experience, and it's such a wonderful event to have and to share with your family and your community. And you guys have a special bond that no one else has unless they participated in it. I asked next year's queen, Ellie Holbrook, what is your family saying? She's like, my grandma's just beyond. Imagine having two queens in the family. I mean, that's just amazing. I know her aunts were all duchesses as well, and so on, and she was so dedicated to it, and she's so dedicated in furthering the event as well. I mean, it's just a special thing. You guys have a special bond.
My favorite part about being that title was meeting new people, meeting new friends, and now I have friendships that can last a lifetime, and they're just amazing people. I love seeing my sister go through it because she went through the same thing that I did, and it was just so much fun, so exciting. I loved being Princess of Lemon Blossom, and I was so honored to.
I got Princess of Lemon, and I was so happy.
So those are your little friends, right?
Yes.
So you're not by yourself?
No, they're my friends, but they invite us they invite me to all their birthday parties.
So you meet a lot of people, right?
Yes.
And so now you have new friends.
Mhm. Sometimes we put scary stories and play games. We sing songs like Rainy Tacos. We tell stories. And we talk about chicken nuggets. Or no, we sing our song, chicken nugget song. The chocolate song? No, the chocolate song. We praise of chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets, right out of the sky. Nuggets, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close.
The event at some point also used to be broadcast all over the country via radio, when that was like a huge deal. So it wasn't just something that was known locally. At some point, it just became this whole phenomenon that reached everyone across the country.
The Texas Citrus Fiesta is at the core of values and of the city of Mission. I remember even as young as 5 years old, always enjoying going to watch the parade and the beautiful pageants of the Texas Citrus Fiesta. So it's just part of our wonderful city.
It's home, it's tradition, it's family, it's a part of my family, of who we are, what we represent. It's something that we take a lot of pride in. So that's why I'm honored to be the Texas Citrus Fiesta director, because that's my way now of giving back to my community, of helping Texas Citrus Fiesta grow for other families other than my own family.
It means family, it means tradition, it means, looking back at old pictures and saying how we too participated in an organization. There are very few organizations out there that can last over 90 years. And to be able to be a part of something that is so important to our community and to the Rio Grande Valley is pretty amazing.
I don't want it to evolve per se. I want it to stay traditional the way it was when I started. There's a lot of things that have changed for the good. I want it to stay traditional the way that it's always been. There's awesome traditions, you know, and there's something to be said for, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You want to be in it because of those traditions. That's what makes it so much fun. That's what makes you and I keep doing what we're doing, you know, and you're doing this documentary on so other people will see it because it's a special thing that we're involved in.
We used to have an art gallery and artists would show their work, and it was all in the downtown area. So I think that was fun because people got to create.
Back in the first or the second Texas Citrus Fiesta, we actually had national cameras come down, and the girls were in water in a swimming pool filled with floating fruit in January. So hats off to them. I can only imagine how cold it was or uncomfortable, but that was something that they did in the early Texas Citrus Fiesta.
My dad used to, I think it was the Sunday before the kickoff of the Citrus Fiesta, they would have a big golf tournament, and it was a fundraiser for the city of Mission. And people would buy sponsorships, and they would have a big golf tournament at Sherry Golf Course. And at that time, Sherry Golf Course, John H. Sherry was involved with the Fiesta because he was a farmer and a King Citrus and everything. Citrus Fiesta is a very big part of living in Mission, and you know, knowing the roots as to how we got our name Mission to begin with, and the different products that we produce here in the valley.
This town I'm talking to you about, we got just a short time ago from the Oblate Fathers. The town I'd like you to become a part of. Mission, Texas.
Why do they call it Mission?
We named it after that old mission they founded over 50 years ago down here. Well, here's the mission. Here's the mission.
So our founding fathers in the citrus industry continue to inspire us even today. This banner that you see back here is part of a traveling exhibit that the Mission Historical Museum developed with Texas Humanities Grant, which is available to be rented out for free of cost for anybody who wishes to do so. And the aesthetic is inspired by the treasure land of the Lower Rio Grande Valley, which is actually a marketing pamphlet that was created by John Sherry to bring people down to Mission, Texas to invest in the citrus industry and in the development of the city. Arnoldo Ramirez, correct? I can spot that man anywhere. Mayor of Mission. He actually traveled to Mexico a few times and promoted Texas Citrus Fiesta and several variety shows.
Yes, I will advocate to the superintendent to bring back and have the kids start learning about the Citrus Fiesta at their grade level, you know, in pre-kinder, kinder, all the way up to high school. They need to know about their city. They need to know the history of their city. I think that with the reorganization of the Citrus Fiesta and I think everybody working together, I think that the overall essence of the Fiesta is going to be that more successful. I think we're going to have more people interested in being involved with the Fiesta and bringing up our children and our grandchildren to be part of the Fiesta.
So my reign, I really want to focus on making the Texas Citrus Fiesta as big as it used to be. One of my plans is to have a John H. Sherry Day, or try to initiate that, and have a week-long celebration and going to the elementaries and just going and talking specifically to the girls at first and sharing my experience as a Duchess, and maybe having some of the other Duchesses come along and share my experiences that I've had with being a Duchess. I would like it to be, I want at least like 20 Duchesses every year, and I want girls to be able to feel excited and feel confident in their dresses, and that's something that I would like to do.
I think the interest is coming back. I think because of COVID, I think a lot of it, you know, they had to downsize it. But I think now that we're back to normal, I think we're gonna bring it back to the way it was traditionally, involving the community, involving the groups like the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, you know, all those organizations that can be productive in bringing back the fiesta the way it used to be.
Its basis in its tradition and its roots. Regardless of what was going on around the world and around the community, Texas Citrus Fiesta has always remained what it was, which is true to its citrus industry and to its roots and its promotion of the city of Mission.
It started in 1932, and except for the years of World War II, it has happened every year since then, including the COVID years. And that's very impressive. That has quite a bit of staying power, and there's a lot of people involved in making sure that this event continues. So I think that's definitely a fun fact. There aren't a lot of events locally and even in the state of Texas that can boast about something like that.
Yeah, I remember we went that year, the COVID year 2021, to the pageant, and it was a completely different experience. It was at the McAllen Performing Arts Center. I remember we sat up in the balcony, and that was a totally different view, and all the duchesses had masks that were made to match their dresses, which was completely different, but it continued, it went on, and it's been going on since 1932, so that was a big change, and I think the whole world was going through changes at the time, but the Texas Citrus Fiesta persevered, as they always have.
Then in 1942 to 46, no citrus.
Because of the war, right?
Because of the war. And the only other time we did not have Texas Citrus Fiesta was COVID.
She had a very unique experience. Yes. She was during COVID. So she competed in October 2020, had to wear a mask. I think she interviewed without the mask, but to be on stage, she had to have a mask. So we had a mask made in the same fabric as her dress. Same thing for coronation. They had to wear their mask on the stage. So she had a mask made from one of the fabrics from her dress. And they did not get to have a citrus parade.
The Texas Citrus Fiesta has evolved. You know, I remember growing up, there was very little floats, and what I anticipate and what I would love to do is for the City and Mission and the Texas Citrus Fiesta to collaborate and make it a huge festival. I know mayors in the past and even the current mayor really wants this festival to be one of its kind and have people from all over Texas and all around the United States come and visit us with live music and just fun for the family and their children.
I think the importance of the young ladies and the people who participate and represent Texas Citrus Fiesta is to know that this is not a beauty pageant, and the beauty pageants have certain criteria and they're very specific in what their objectives are. The titles that these young ladies hold represent more advocates and ambassadors for their cities and the products that they represent. They're holistically it's more so about their inner beauty that shines outwardly and their personality and how they're able to carry themselves and represent their city and respective products.
Everyone's eyes are on the same prize. We want it to be awesome and wonderful and well done and memorable, and we want people to just can't wait till the next year so that they can attend these events. And so I'm just thankful that I've been given the opportunity to do this. I think that all of these young ladies that have taken part in this, yourself included, are wonderful young ladies and just wonderful representatives of the Citrus Fiesta. And when you go out into the world, you know, and do whatever's next, all of these ladies are going to be your friends, and they're going to help you if you need it. And I think that's just really something really special about the Texas Citrus Fiesta. So you're always part of it, you know, and it's, you know, not everyone can be it. So the ones that are on these walls, you know, there's only so many that could say that they were a Queen Citrona. So I think that's awesome. I want everyone to come into this as just top-notch, classy young ladies. You know, there are winners, there are losers. You know, let's just take it however it rolls. Enjoy it. Enjoy the time with your mom. Enjoy the time getting to wear these awesome gowns, to do, you know, all the events that you're part of. Just know that this is a tradition that we are trying to make sure does not go away, and that we want you to be a part of it and to love it and enjoy it as much as we have, and take away only the good things from it that you can.
This is a beautiful pageant, and while there's so many other pageants all over the Rio Grande Valley, this pageant is so special because it is of royalty. I mean, they make it just so regal, so beautiful.
The advice that I would give to young ladies that would like to participate as a Duchess for the Texas Citrus Fiesta is to just go for it, but give it your absolute best. Something that my mom always told us growing up is if you're going to do something, you need to give it your absolute best. But to be a Duchess solidifies your place in Texas Citrus Fiesta history. The sisterhood that is being built from year to year throughout many generations is just incredible. It's unmatched in the Rio Grande Valley. It's a wonderful opportunity to become a spokesperson for the Rio Grande Valley, for the citrus industry, for Fiesta as a whole. And it's a wonderful opportunity to network with other women. It's just an incredible opportunity. And there are a lot of myths or a lot of thoughts that you have to be from a family from the Mission area to be able to gain your spot on the royal court, or you have to have had a mother that participated as a Duchess, or a father that has been around it for many years, or you have to have had an older sister or an aunt, a cousin, someone that was a part of it, or your family had to be in the citrus industry, or a parent that was a board member for the Texas Citrus Fiesta, or even the daughter of a politician in the Mission area. But none of that is true. There isn't any real rhyme or reason. There's no special formula to make it on to the royal court or to be crowned queen. It's just hard work, being your absolute self, and really researching the Texas Citrus Fiesta, learning that history, understanding your product and why that product is represented from your city. It's just so important to know our history in this area, to realize that it's bigger than any of us, it's bigger than any family legacy, and give it your absolute best. So many young ladies and the mothers especially, because I've been there as a mother, think that you have to put thousands and thousands of dollars into a ball gown. That's not what wins this event. It's obviously representing your product and showcasing that in your ball gown, but it's also following the rules. The rules are there for a reason. The board members have set rules such as your dress has to be so many inches off the floor, or don't wear a hooped wire petticoat, or don't wear anything that is low cut in the front or in the back, nothing that's off the shoulder. The reason for that is trying to keep the integrity of the Texas Citrus Fiesta intact and continue with the tradition of year to year that this is an event for young ladies, and as such our royalty, because being a Duchess is a part of royalty. So being a Duchess is just an opportunity to always say that you were a part of Texas Citrus Fiesta history.
My advice for any future Duchesses would be to enjoy every moment. You've already won. You won the opportunity to represent your product and your city or whoever it is that you're representing. And so now I think once you have your Duchess title, it's about enjoying every moment. You get to participate in the coronation, in the gala, in the parade of oranges. Usually you get to volunteer at different events during your time as a Duchess as well, maybe the product costume show. So there are so many things you get to do, and instead of being focused on the competition of it all, it's really great to focus on all the experiences you get to be part of and how exciting and how fun all of that is.
I think parents, we should all enjoy that moment. It's so special to see your daughter up on stage in a beautiful ball gown.
The Texas Citrus Fiesta is more than just the Queen Citriana pageant. That is a big part of it. Coronation is a huge part of the entire event. But it's not just a pageant. It's being a part of the history of the Texas citrus industry and this fiesta that has been held for many years.
It's more than just about the city of Mission. It's more than just about the citrus industry. This is part of our culture. This is part of our heritage. It comes from the land, so it's part of the land, part of our region. So it is who we are.
The best advice I could give is just do it. You know, just like the Nike slogan says, just do it. If you've ever thought about participating in the Queen Citriana pageant or the Princess Anna pageant, you have nothing to lose. Come out, do your best, represent your city, represent your product with pride and with deep appreciation for the fiesta and the citrus industry, and really just have fun and be yourself. That's the most important thing. Our pageant is very, very different from other beauty pageants that, you know, you see on TV or online. Ours is very different. It's really, truly rooted in the citrus fiesta and the citrus industry and why we celebrate the citrus industry. So it really is different. It really feels like you're honoring tradition and history for the Rio Grande Valley. So the best advice I could give is go for it. Have fun, try it out, be a part of the Texas Citrus Fiesta history.
The Texas Citrus Fiesta is the oldest and longest running fiesta of its kind in the Rio Grande Valley. It has been celebrated almost every year since 1932. The Rio Grande Valley, in particular the city of Mission, which mostly focuses on the growth and production of grapefruits, is known as the area where the majority of the Texas citrus industry exists. It is vital to educate our youth and community on the history and heritage of the Texas Citrus Fiesta and of the efforts of pioneer families such as John H. Sherry and many others that continue to carry the traditions today in what I call citrus legacies.